exhibit about consciousness, an installation artwork where consciousness is defined and auditory and visual processes are used in a metaphorical context to define consciousness and the conscious experience that we all experience on a day-to-day basis. My artwork has interfaced with my neurobiology research and with my clinical neurology experience for many years now, over a decade. This exhibit tackles the question of what consciousness is. In this exhibit, I define what consciousness is, unambiguously and very clearly. Consciousness is a biologic phenomena emerging from the lateral interactions of cerebral cortical neurons. The exhibit consists of 14 slide projectors projecting each of the words of the sentence. The slides themselves were made from cerebral cortical brain sections that I used as my research material in my neuroscience research laboratory 12 years ago. I pulled these slides out from storage, photographed them, and applied the lettering onto the slides. And these are the basis for the slide projector images. Each of the slides details a different cerebral cortical area, different layers within the cerebral cortex. All of the blue dots that one sees in these projections are cerebral cortical neurons. The auditory projection in this exhibit consists of the same sentence repeated and re-recorded between two different audio cassette recorders. Each time the message was re-recorded, there was a change in the quality of the sound, a change in the message. This is very much akin to the way memory traces are stored within the central nervous system. Memories are re-recorded, projected from one cortical area to another cortical area. Each time this takes place, there is a modification on the message itself. Certain aspects are lost, other aspects of qualities, sensory input, emotional qualities are added, such that one can have a very elaborate memory recollection scattered and distributed within the central nervous system of re-recorded messages, very much akin to the audio tape in this exhibit.
This is a biologic phenomena emerging.
These projections are projections onto the viewer, both visual projections and auditory ones. They project onto the sensory apparatus of the viewer, which in turn projects onto the cerebral cortical areas, cerebral cortical layers composed of neurons. This exhibit itself is an attempt to emulate the phenomenon of consciousness within each person, within each viewer. The projections interact in their projected state within the cerebral cortical layers and neurons with the ongoing processes that are taking place within the viewer. Namely, they're interacting with memories, with recollections, with emotions, with feelings. This interaction of internally generated sensory input from memory storage with external input from the sensory apparatuses gives rise to consciousness. The room itself is closed off from outside light sources, from outside sound sources. The visual inputs here are self-generated, self-projected. The auditory system likewise. The words that are visually presented and presented on the audio tape are projections, much akin to the fashion of memory functions within the central nervous system. Memory itself is an internally generated projection, a projection which relates and interacts from one cortical area to another, from one cerebral cortical layer to another, in between different neurons. This installation is a visual and experiential metaphor for the biologic phenomena of consciousness and the interactions between the sensory modalities and the internally generated visual memories, internally generated auditory memories that each and every one of us carries with us during every single moment of consciousness. The projections are taking place onto the viewer's own neuronal layers, the viewer's own neuronal memories, recollections, emotions, and interact with them, producing in each individual a different emotional response to this exhibit and a different cognitive and evaluative response to this exhibit.